Welcome in. You are listening to Just an Average Podcast with your hosts, Jake and Casey. Yeah, okay. All right. You're cracking a beer. You know what? I've got here? I've got a little bit of, it's been a long evening, so we're breaking out the good stuff. We've got some Woodford Reserve. We're going to go ahead and pour that. No ice. We're going neat first pour here. So going to have this tonight for the pod. Just a little.
You're going straight throat burn.
What's that?
You're going straight throat burn.
Straight throat? No, this stuff's good.
Yeah, I know it is. It's smooth. It's good. That's like the perfect old fashioned.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Either this or sometimes if I do like whiskey sour, we go a little bit of Four Roses. Some great stuff.
It's been a hot minute since not hot minute, but I've never actually bought Woodford Reserve. I don't think.
This is rye, I do believe. It's really good. Really good stuff. Kentucky straight rye whiskey. It's great. It's actually probably one of, if not my favorite. But it was a long evening, dude. I just got back from that regional basketball. I was watching regional basketball tonight there in Bushville. We were hosting.
There's two games, right?
Yeah, so on the Illini Bluffs beat North Fulton.
Bad?
Actually, not as bad as what I originally expected.
Because North Fulton's was not bad. North Fulton was above 500 this year.
Yeah, so not as bad as what people originally thought. And then who else? Rushville played
Delavan. Who won that game?
Delavan did. Rushville, they kept it close there for. Well, actually, no, I take that back. Delavan was winning when I left. I left at halftime, and Delavan was winning, and Rushville wasn't really showing any signs of coming back. But, yeah. So I don't know how good was Rushville good this year. Do you know?
Nah, about 500 probably.
Well, yeah. I mean, what did Lewiston finish? Did they not finish?
They won their regional game against Savannah in overtime, and then they played Minden Unity tonight, and it was not pretty.
Wow. Okay.
It was close in the first quarter, and then after that, it was not very good from what I've seen by some parents on Facebook. So,
gotcha. Okay.
But I watched a couple of games. I watched Williamsville, who's state ranked, almost get beat by Illini West. West, they lost by 3 or 4. It was a really, really good game. And then I watched Macomb play Canton for the second time in like a week and a half.
And
I think they played. It was Macomb. It was close at half, and then Macomb pulled away in the second half, and it ended up being like 46-29 or something like that.
Yeah, I've watched Macomb play a little bit. They're pretty
They've
only
good. Lost 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, they're pretty good. But yeah, on the topic of sports, it's actually a great transition into our topic tonight. Obviously, right now, as we are doing this podcast, NFL free agent or NFL combine is going on. I know they did the interviews and stuff like that today. A lot of really interesting prospects this year. I don't know if you've kept up on any of the NFL college players or not, but
like for the draft.
For the draft, yeah.
I'm not a huge unless it's I'm not a huge college football guy.
Yeah.
I don't have a college football team that I like. It's kind of just I watched the national championship this year. Well, not the national championship, but I did watch the national championship game. But I watched like all the games leading up to it this year. Like that's the first time I've ever done that, and is actually watch the games leading up. And I think a lot of that was because the format was different and there was different chances for teams to win. Like I feel like if Notre Dame didn't have that format, then I don't know if they would have made it all the way.
Yeah. Yeah, Notre Dame.
I don't know if they would have got a chance.
Yeah, they because they are not they're not in a conference, right?
They're not in a conference, and they don't have a conference championship. So I mean, they'd almost have to play perfect to get a top 4.
They were really good. What's that? Was that the linebacker Kaiser is actually? I mean, they have a lot of really good players that I think they're going into the draft. Some
they
of them
were really good, but they were not stacked like Ohio State. Yeah. It was crazy that Ohio State was ranked like 8th.
Yeah, so
but they got
it's crazy though. Ohio State's really been trending up the past, I don't know how, like, past what, 3-4 years they've been really trending up. And I mean, they're a good team. I mean, this wide receiver, all these,
They had the
well,
best. They had the best offense in college football
yeah.
this year.
Oh, yeah. Between them and LSU, as far as wide receivers go, it seems like, you're going to if you get a wide receiver from one of those colleges, you're getting a good wide receiver.
Yeah.
But no, I think, like I said, as the time of us recording this, I think they're doing the interviews and stuff today with all the players. So like you do the interviews, and tomorrow's like the on-field work. So you get to see like the wide receivers around the corners. That's the fun.
Shadir's not doing it.
Shedeur is not. Ashton Jeanty is not.
Shadir. Potato, potato.
Yeah.
Shedeur is not. He's not, but he's doing the throwing combine at Colorado, I think. The throwing
Pro day. Yeah.
I think he's throwing in that in Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one player I really want to see, and I haven't heard any news yet, by the time we post this, there might be some news out. Travis Hunter, obviously. I haven't heard any news of him not doing anything, but man, seeing him, because he's going to be in the wide receiver and the DB drill. So
he's going to get drafted as a DB.
100%. But I mean, right now, I think, so I've listened to other things and read certain things. He's ranked the number 1 corner in the draft and number 2 wide receiver in the draft.
Who's the number 1 wide receiver?
Oh, that Mbuk, the guy from Ohio State.
That's what I thought.
Mbuk, what's it? Gosh, I can't say his name. Let me look here really quick. I think I've got this pulled up.
But
here.
I mean, he has a longer lasting. He probably.
I take that back. Career, it's either the Mbiki, I can't think of his name, or the McMillan guy out of Arizona, wide receiver. That guy, but
he probably has a higher
Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State.
But Travis Hunter probably has a higher ceiling as a cornerback, right? Than
100%. I think so for sure.
Receiver?
Yeah, I think so for sure. But
I think he has a higher chance of getting drafted higher if he goes as a cornerback.
He will probably be he's going to be a top 5 pick, I think, no matter what.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think Shedeur is
the top pick?
Top 5 pick.
I see where they bringing him out into the or people selecting him kind of like 6, like just falling out of the top 5. I see him going like maybe 3rd to the Giants or possibly 2nd to the Browns have 2nd overall pick, I do believe.
I think who's the first?
Titans, Browns, Giants. I have to look at the rest of them, but
Oakland's up there, or not Oakland. LA's up there.
It's not mock draft season yet. I haven't done a mock draft yet, and usually I do about 50 of them. So I haven't. As soon as I watch the rest of the combine and I kind of see
the only time I've ever done a mock draft was the podcast we did last year.
Yeah,
that's the only time I've ever. It wasn't last year. 2 years ago, wasn't it?
We've done it 2 years. We've done it. We did 2 years in a row.
We did do it.
Like I think the mock draft was our first podcast we ever did. So.
And yeah, it was. Or that was it. Golf. Was it golf or was it?
It might have been that's how much to go way back and look. But
yeah, that's the only mock drafts I've ever done. That's the only time I've ever actually looked at draft prospects and kind of like did a little bit of research.
Yeah. And mock draft. I mean, I think that's got to be a tradition. We've got to do another mock draft and stuff this year because
for sure.
I don't watch it. I can't say that because I did watch a ton of college football this year. But I've actually been paying attention to more of these players this year, so I'm really excited to kind of see, where they go. But yeah, Tennessee Titans first. So top 5 picks, you got Tennessee Titans, Cleveland Browns, New York Giants, Patriots, Jags, and then the Raiders. So
Patriots are they're gonna go for Travis Hunter, right? They got to.
Right now he's projected.
Or they're going offensive.
To get
they're going offensive line,
offensive tackle. Yeah. Yep. No, they have. In this mock draft, Travis Hunter falls to 5 to the Jaguars. So, and they have Shedeur going.
I think right now on the quarterback, it's just going to depend on. I think it's going to depend on what quarterback free agency looks like.
And free agency is our topic today, so we'll kind of get to that. I'm not going to jump into that quite yet, but yes, there are a lot of really good free agents coming out as well. But
yeah, I was looking at the 101 free agents this year.
Yeah,
and holy smokes,
there's some good ones. There are some good ones.
They're old.
Some of them are. Your boy's coming out. Your Dolphins, boy, they're struggling right now with cap space.
Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous.
And Javon Holland.
He's not going to come back.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really have the money to pay him unless you like get rid of Tyreek or something.
I mean, we could ship a couple players off. I think offensively we can kind of afford to take a mini hit, but can't really.
Oh yeah, defense has got to stay
But
there.
the
I think
thing
you
is
can
that
cut Bradley Chubb because Bradley Chubb's injury prone.
The thing is that our running backs are all low income or rookies or second year.
Well, you're getting rid of the one guy, right? You're not re-signing.
I don't think Mostert's coming back, no, because we don't need him with A-Chain.
Yeah, A-Chain, I think A-Chain reminds me, okay, he's not to the level of Jahmyr Gibbs, but I think he has Jahmyr Gibbs-like potential. I really do.
Yeah,
I don't know if you have really read much or seen much. I've listened to a lot of different things, listened to a lot of different things. It says, like, obviously Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders are the top quarterbacks in this year's draft. Cam Ward out of Miami. Shedeur obviously out of Colorado. But they said, from people that I've been listening to, now, I'm not saying this because I'm a Broncos fan, but they said if Bo Nix was in this year's draft class, he would be the first quarterback off the board.
I think he was an underrated as
he was productive in college, but I think obviously him being older played a factor. And really, I don't know what the other factors really were, but I'm glad he fell to us at 12.
I mean,
Jaden Daniels though.
Jaden Daniels is legit.
So good.
Caleb Williams still isn't bad. I don't think that was a bad first pick.
I think this is going to go down as probably one of the best quarterback draft classes in a long time.
And no one ever really thought. I don't think.
Well, I mean, they had already projected. I mean, 12 quarterbacks. But
you always project quarterbacks to go high.
Yeah, when 6 quarterbacks.
When it's a high draft, like when it's a high quarterback, when it's a heavy quarterback draft, they always tend to go like at least 4 or 5 of them go in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, 6 quarterbacks going in the top 12's never happened before.
All right, but Drake May is legit.
Drake May's good. We didn't get to see. I mean, we get seen a little bit of Michael Penix. He looks promising. Obviously, he looks promising. If they're
that was both of our, I think,
Kirk Cousins.
I think that was both of our picks as one of the best in the draft.
Michael Penix, yeah. I think Michael Penix above Bo Nix. I did like a
man. He just was so good at Washington. He had receivers, but his accuracy and arm strength was ridiculous.
Yeah. But yeah, that, and then obviously JJ McCarthy got hurt, didn't see what he's got. So I mean, obviously he'll be coming in next year. Yep, because Sam Darnold's a free agent. But
yeah.
Speaking of free agency, that is the main topic tonight. I don't know if you got to look at the thing I sent over the cap. It kind of tells everybody's cap space they have.
Yeah.
So obviously, like right now, you've got the Patriots setting until they make any further moves. They're setting at the top with $128 million in cap space.
They've been just camping on there.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of the people are. The Broncos got $41 million. The Dolphins currently have $772,000. That was a million when I looked at it earlier today. So this is updated relatively, quick whenever things happen. With that being said, who do you think is going to make the biggest splash this year in free agency? I mean, free agency is, as we're recording this, I'm going to try to get this posted before free agency is out. Free agency starts not next week, but the week after next.
Looking at the cap space, and the spending, like just it's hard for me not to think. It's hard for me not to think that the Commanders are going to do something.
Yeah,
because they made it to the NFC Championship last year or this year. They did it with a rookie quarterback.
Yep.
They have McLaurin, and who else is there? Who is their second? Who's their second wide receiver? That's fairly decent.
Dotson, or is
Dotson?
It not Dotson?
Is it Dotson? I think it's Dotson.
I think. I mean, they got Luke McCaffrey. Yeah, Luke McCaffrey as well, but he's like way down on the depth chart.
But I think that they can make a run for a tiered wide receiver. I think that they can go after T. Higgins.
Yeah.
And I think they can give him a shot. And there's a couple other wide receivers in there that they can run after to try and get a little bit of help with him. But I think that, man, I don't know. And they may even, their defense was legit, but they may even go after someone like Sweat or Williams.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. Sorry, Noah Brown, and then Jamison Crowder still plays for them.
Okay.
Didn't even realize that. And then Damani Brown.
Where's Dotson?
KJ Osborne. I forgot about him that he's on there, but then they've got Zacchaeus. They have the Zacchaeus guy. He's pretty good. And then Luke McCaffrey. And then Zach Ertz, obviously. I can definitely see the Commanders, especially with having the cap space, making a big splash. Another team that I can see making a huge splash is going to be the Chicago Bears. Ben Johnson's already come out publicly and said we're going to invest heavily in the offensive line. And I mean, this is a great year for that. You've got Ronnie Stanley, who's a free agent. You know, none of these players, as we're currently doing this, have been re-signed. So this could very well change. But Ronnie Stanley's a free agent. You've got Trey Smith of the Chiefs. He's a free agent.
That's the one. That's a big one.
Zeitler for, I think he's the Bengals right now. He's a free agent. So you got all these guys that are free agents. And I think that's going to be the Bears' number one priority. So I think they're going to make a big splash. It's not going to be the sexiest pickups, but I think it's going to be like, you know, this is what we need. Sure. Yeah, because their defense is already set. Make Caleb Williams feel comfortable. Maybe you get another wide receiver. I realize Keenan Allen's getting older. You just got Rome Odunze, but maybe you get like a reliable target as far as
Keenan Allen's a free agent.
Oh yeah, well there you go. But he's also old too. But if they don't re-sign him, they don't. But you know, I think Chris Godwin would be a good addition for them. You know, get a smaller guy. They have all this money. I mean, they could very well go pay T. Higgins. They definitely could. But I think they're going to make their biggest splash. Definitely signing some offensive linemen.
They have to. And then Bears fans can't complain about their quarterbacks getting. They can't complain about Caleb Williams playing terrible because.
I think Caleb Williams I think, like my biggest thing that I preach to my athletes is, don't think, just play. Like I think he's thinking way too much. Like obviously, like he's got that internal clock's like, oh, get the ball. Oh, now I've got to, you know, and I get it. You're not getting protected, so you get the ball. And it's like looking around, like, oh my god, am I gonna get hit? But yeah, I mean, he was the most sacked quarterback last year. I think was he not?
Close. I think who was?
Was it? What's his name?
Shoot.
Burrow. Was it Burrow?
No, I don't think Burrow was actually the most sacked. I think it's an NFC quarterback, I think.
No, it was Caleb Williams.
No, but behind Caleb Williams, I think it was
CJ Stroud.
Yeah, that's who
it was. Caleb Williams was sacked 68 times.
CJ Stroud got sacked.
Then CJ Stroud 52, Geno 50, Sam Darnold 48. Wow, and then Joe Burrow 48. Jaden Daniels was sacked 40. No way.
Geno's who I was thinking of.
Jaden Daniels got sacked 47 times.
That's
Bo Nix
crazy.
got sacked 24. What? That seems insane.
Commanders' offensive line isn't that great.
Being sacked 68 times in a season sounds insane. No way.
Yeah, it does. Sounds crazy. That's no wonder he would only throw for like 20 yards in the first half.
With 68 sacks. I guess I've never really looked at these stats.
With CJ Stroud, look how bad CJ Stroud's numbers ended up turning into the second year, getting sacked so much.
And that's the biggest thing too. You've got the sophomore slump. You know, you've got the sophomore slump.
We also got to think too. Look how many he had. 2 of his top 3 receivers be hurt.
Yeah,
halfway through the season too.
Yeah,
and still got him to the playoffs.
Yeah. Then again, you know, Patrick Mahomes never had a sophomore slump, mainly because he didn't start his rookie year. So I'm intrigued to see if we have any players have a sophomore slump. You know, I think the biggest thing that's never really happened because they had the whole COVID year and stuff like that. So these players got another year of eligibility. You've got, you know, Michael Penix and Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix coming in and basically being NFL ready because they played 6 years of college football. They're 24, 25 years old coming in playing in the NFL. You don't really see that a lot. You know, Drake May, I think, is 20 years old. So you get these prospects that are a lot younger coming in trying to play for your team. It takes a while. I think teams are way too quick to give up on their quarterbacks, you know, when it takes 2-3 years. Like, look at Sam Darnold. He just needed the right situation, and now he's finally 24, 25 years old, and he's kind of picking up steam a little bit. But
yeah, but here's the thing: when does Michael Penix get his shot?
He's got it.
No. Is he the quarterback next year?
100%. I think they're moving on from Kirk Cousins. I'm almost positive they're not re-signing, or they're cutting Kirk Cousins. I would look. I'm almost positive. No, he was named the starter. He was named the starter at the end of the season. Remember, last season he was named the starter, which basically indicates, hey, Kirk, see you later. I think Kirk Cousins is probably going to get cut.
You think so?
I don't want to say yes and then him not get cut, but yeah, right here. This was Falcons expected to cut Kirk Cousins before $10 million bonus due.
Wow.
Yep. Kirk Cousins is widely expected to be cut by the Atlanta Falcons before his $10 million is due. So Michael Penix he'll be your starter next year.
So I guess you could throw Kirk Cousins in as a free agent then maybe.
Yeah, you definitely could if he gets cut for sure.
I don't have him on there, but
yeah, I don't have him on mine either. And honestly, I think he's aging, but boy, he has really cheated the system. Not cheated the system, but boy, he's done well for himself.
Give me his agent.
No kidding. So speaking of free agents, it's only right that we rank, I think, our top 10 free agents this year. I know we discussed this a little bit. Obviously, we don't know who's going to get re-signed before we post this podcast. So if any of these guys get re-signed, in the midst of I think I'll probably be posting this here in about a week or so. If any of those players get signed, obviously, can't do much about it. But let's go ahead and go through our top 10. I'm assuming we're going to have some overlap. I guarantee we have a few players that are going to be in the same spot. So who do we think the best top 10 free agents are? And I'll let you start. We're going to start at number 10. We're going to work our way down to number 1.
Okay, so you're probably going to think I'm crazy for this one.
Hold on. Let me get my list pulled up here because it might not be crazy. Okay, number 10.
Okay, so my number 10 is a second string quarterback.
Okay.
I'm going Jameis Winston.
Dude, I love Jameis Winston. I
do.
You
hear him on the Pro Day or on the Pro Bowl? When he was with Fox and he was throwing out
This is the first year I didn't watch the Pro Bowl.
I just saw highlights. I didn't watch the Pro Bowl. I just saw highlights of him like asking questions. No, it was a Super Bowl, and he was asking questions to like Kansas City and
I did
the Eagles. Yep. You see where he was throwing out? He was tossing out cookies to him.
I did not see that. No,
see if he can catch these. I can't remember what it was, but no, I think that you put him in the right situation, he can be a number 1 quarterback. I really do.
Yeah.
And he is a great guy to have in the locker room, and he is just like
he's like no other quarterback in the league.
He throws a lot of interceptions. He's a gunslinger.
Yeah,
but he is not a bad quarterback.
No, he's really not.
He's a Heisman winner.
He's fun to watch.
He's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
He just throws a lot of interceptions. Like when he was with the Buccaneers and he threw like
30 for 30, baby.
30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. So, but I mean, I think that you put him in the right situation. I think that he can thrive as a quarterback. Yeah. So
have they made a 30 for 30 on his 30 for 30 yet? Because if they haven't, they should. They should. That'd be great. So that's your number 10. Man, Jameis. Let me look at my list here. I don't have any quarterbacks on my list, which is
this is 1, 2, 3.
3. Awesome. So our list is gonna be a little bit different here. My number 10 is actually a defensive lineman, and it is Milton Williams. He's the defensive tackle for the Eagles.
Yep.
Obviously, their defense was really good this year. Now, he's a defensive tackle for the Eagles, right? He had 5 sacks this year. I think he had 1 forced fumble. It's decent. You're thinking, okay, not great production, but you also got to think, Jalen Carter plays for that team, and so does Jordan Davis. So you've already got 2 guys that are really big body guys, and this guy's 25 years old. He's not old. He's not, a true starter. He's a good rotational player, and I think the Eagles would probably be dumb not to re-sign him, but I think his price tag is probably going to be a little too rich.
Many people on defense.
But
many people on defense that are.
They have the cap space, and I've also been seeing the the Myles Garrett trade rumors to the Eagles as well, and that'd be insane. I've also seen the ones to the Lions. Myles Garrett trade rumors to the Lions.
That'd be like when Kevin Durant went to Golden State.
It's like when DeMarcus Ware came to the Broncos, and you had DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller. It's freaking awesome. But yeah, no, Milton Williams, my number 10 guy here. I think if he goes to any defense, he's an instant starter. You're just going to see the production rise a little bit. Now, obviously, he was in a good, a product of a good system. We'll put it that way, because Vic Fangio probably should have won Super Bowl MVP. He called one heck of a defense during that Super Bowl.
Yeah, he did.
Former Broncos head coach. Didn't pan out as a head coach, but man, he's a great defensive coordinator. So
a lot of people have done that.
Yep. I'm going to keep him there at my number 10 spot, Milton Williams.
So my number 9 is Najee Harris.
All right, I like it. I like Najee.
A solid running back that is going to be a number 1 anywhere. He kind of had a down slump, not this year, but the year before. The whole team kind of was just in a cluster. He didn't really play very good, but this year he was very good, very solid. Wasn't ever hurt, I don't think. Maybe was hurt once. Maybe was out of game. But he's legit running back.
I do like him a lot.
And he's still fairly young too.
Yeah, so he is. He's like 25, 26?
26, 27.
Something like that, yeah. I like Najee a lot. I think that he's instantly going to upgrade any backfield that he goes into. There's been talks of the Broncos maybe signing him because if we let Javonte walk, we're going to be looking for another running back. I've also heard talks of us getting, Genty in the draft at 20. I don't know if he's even going to be there. I think if you get Genty, you have to move up into the top 10, maybe 15 to get Genty. But Najee Harris, though, super good value here. I don't actually have him on my top 10, but I like that pick a lot. My number 9 is actually your boy, Javon Holland. So I realize his stats were a little bit down last year as far as safety goes, but keep this in mind. We took your safety, Brandon Jones, all right, the year before, and he went off for us this last year. Like he, young guy. I think he's only 20. I think Brandon Jones and Javon Holland were actually 23, 24, 25 in that
They're
range.
Younger, yeah.
They're younger. So I think he's a really good safety. I think he could go to a system and be really good. I think he's more of a kind of like a run support type safety. Coverage wasn't great. I know I looked at some of his PFF stats and they weren't the greatest as far as coverage goes, but when it comes for, playing in the run game and being run support, he was in the upper half of safeties in the league. So I got him there at my number 9 spot. I wouldn't mind seeing the Broncos maybe try to shove a little money his way in free agency. Like I said, I think he will fit our system pretty well. And I mean,
I think he's going to go somewhere that is
because he's young.
I think he's going to go somewhere that's cap heavy and needs someone on defense, whether they're good or bad. I think someone's going to shovel out.
And so here's the biggest thing. I think guys that are young, they want to go somewhere where they can get a good paycheck. Whereas guys that are older, like, you just want to win. I want to win. And I mean, he wants that guaranteed. They want that guaranteed money. Yeah, 100%. So, I have Holland on there. So at the number 9 spot, but kind of regretting not having Najee in that spot. Because I don't have Najee on my list either, but I like that Najee at 9.
So my number 8 is Hollywood Brown.
Oof. Yep. Okay.
Coming back from injury, didn't really play too hot in the playoffs. What did he do? Did he play in the AFC Championship game and the Super Bowl, or did he just play the Super Bowl?
No, he came back for both.
He didn't really. He showed a couple signs of being able to be his old self.
Yeah,
I think that if he gets back to even like 90% of the status that he was his last year in Arizona, I think that he's going to be a number 1, not a number 1, but like a high number
fringe.
2 somewhere.
He's fringe.
I think that he has a good chance. I think there's 3 guys maybe on my top 10 and maybe 1 on my extras that I have that could very well go to the Buffalo Bills.
Marquise would be a good one there, especially Amari, because Amari Cooper, is he a free agent? So I mean, if he leaves, you're getting younger and you're getting a faster player, but I do like Amari though as well. So
yeah. Yep, so I have Hollywood as number 8.
Okay. Some people are going to hate this pick for me having this guy at number 8. They probably think he should be higher, but I've actually got Josh Sweat at number 8. And my reasoning is I think he is the product of a good defense. Obviously, they had a good defense. He had a good showing in the Super Bowl. He's going to go somewhere and make a lot of money. But just to look back, he has never had his best season was in 2022, and he had 11 sacks and 1 interception. Other than that, the most sacks he's had in a season was this past year at 8. Like, what they say, $1 million a sack until you get to 10, and then after that, he goes into the 20s. So I mean, this last year, if you're saying, hey, $8 million, you might pay the edge rusher $16 million to go play for you, but he, like I said, I think he's a product of a good defense. He's probably a really good player, but I mean, just past years, here we go. We've got 8 sacks, 6.5, 11, 7.5, 6, 4. And then in 2018, I think he was injured, so he didn't have any, either injured or back on the depth chart. So, he's been in the league for a while too, with this going on his 7th year. So he's getting up there in age a little bit. He's probably right in his prime at the moment. But like I said, the Broncos' leading sack person 2 years ago was Jonathan Cooper. Who's Jonathan Cooper? No one knows who Jonathan Cooper even is, and he led our team in sacks. So I mean, it's great. Obviously, when you're on a Super Bowl team, you're going to get a lot more recognition. But I can kind of see this being, like back in. I always use the Broncos as an example, just because I know their history a little bit more. But back in 2015, they went to the Super Bowl. Malik Jackson did really well for the Broncos, went off and signed a lucrative deal with the Jaguars, and really didn't do much more after that. So that's my little rant.
Seems like a lot of defenders, like defensive guys, they play like good enough to get a big contract, and then after that, just kind of drop off a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see a lot of them continue to play well through their contract. TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, Von Miller, those types, the names, but
but those are, those guys are Hall of Fame.
Jonathan, Josh Sweat is just kind of middle of the road edge rusher, so he's not your high end name, but he's your high to mid tier name edge rusher. So that's why I got him there at my 8th spot. And like I said, I might get some hate for that, but just based off stats and production and everything, that's where I've got him.
All right. My number 7 is Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb. See, I was very, very hesitant to put him on my list.
So he's been accident prone.
Yeah.
As of late, he's hurt. He's older, getting older. He's like 29, getting 30, which is crazy to think because I'm going to be 30 this year.
Same, dude. We're like a month apart.
Yeah, but I think that you put him in a good system.
Oh my god!
You get him away from the Browns. You put him somewhere where he has a line and he can get you those yards. I think that he can have 1,000 rushing season.
I think he can have 1,000 scrimmage yards. I don't know about 1,000 rushing yards, just because those injuries, man. I mean, he did it in college too. He did the same thing in college, but it's crazy.
But he's also been beat up like crazy in Cleveland.
Oh yeah, 100%. He was a bell cow for the first 4 or 5 years in the NFL. I mean, and up until he got hurt, he's just bell cow. Yeah. Hey, if this makes you feel any better, though, I'm gonna just shoot this in here really quick. Me and you are both older than Nick Chubb and Myles Garrett, so we'll keep that in mind. Feel old?
And they look like they're 20 years older than we are.
Yeah, it's insane. It's crazy. I mean, I shaved my head and grew a beard, so I mean, maybe they still probably look older than me. But, I like that, though. I like Nick Chubb on there. Like I said, I didn't have any running backs, and I like that our lists are differing so far. We haven't had any kind of repeats. So
I only had 2 running backs.
I bet I can guess who the other one is, but I'm not going to say it.
No, I already did my 2 because I did Najee and Nick Chubb.
No Aaron Jones.
I have him in my extras.
Extras, okay. All right, so we are on number 7 here. Correct? Number 7?
Yeah.
All right, we're going back to the Eagles, going back to the well here, and we are going Zach Bond with my number 7 pick. And that's mainly because, I mean, he's 28. He started off with the Saints.
They're so young.
28
no, but the Eagles defense is young.
Oh yeah. Jalen Carter and both from Georgia. But Zach Bond, a little bit older, 28 years old. Let me just put it this way. He's had 1 year of production, and it came with the Eagles, right? So up until this point, from 2020 to 2023, his combined total tackles does not even equal what he had this year. So this year, obviously, he had a breakout year. He had 151 tackles, 58 of those being assists, 3.5 sacks, and 1 interception. So previous years, 2023, 30 tackles. 2022, 16. 2021, 30. 2020, 12. So that's what bumps him down my list a little bit. I think, like, yes, he had a great year. If he can continue it, that's
Right.
awesome. But I've seen a lot of linebackers too retire at 30, 31. So I was like, do you sign him to a lucrative 4-5 year deal, or it's like, hey, I'm going to give you another 1 year deal. Now replicate what you just did with the Eagles. Do the Eagles re-sign him? I think if the Eagles don't re-sign him, it's very telling that like, he had one good year, but we can do this with another guy.
Right.
Yeah. So
or at least they offer him something.
Yeah. Yeah. So and I bet he's going to be asking top dollar. It wouldn't surprise me if he goes and gets 10, 11, 12 million a year.
Right.
But that is my number 7.
All right. My number 6, we talked about him already a little bit. Amari Cooper.
Ooh, I like it. I do like Amari. Like I said, he's older, but I like him as a receiver.
Yeah. He always gives good production. Great route runner. Big body. And never really hurt. Really. I mean, he is a little bit, but not
had drop problems like earlier in his career, but those have kind of gone away. So
yeah, but when you play with the Browns and then you go play with the Cowboys, I mean, yeah, this is the first time he's been with a good quarterback, like a good quarterback. Even though his production really wasn't that great, I didn't really get very many touches.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the season, but I could see, if the Bills don't go after, if the Bills don't go out, I mean, they're probably going to try and go after someone. But I could see them re-signing Amari Cooper.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. I know, like I said, I like Amari Cooper a lot. I think he's really good. I think he's a really good receiver. But it's one of those things too. They just re-signed Shakir. They just gave Shakir a really big deal. So is it one of those things to where they let Cooper walk and they try to get one of these younger free agents? Time will tell. I mean, obviously you got to get weapons for Josh Allen, and Josh Allen's just an animal. So, yeah. I mean, he doesn't really need – Josh Allen could do the whole thing by himself. But obviously I think he needs – when you're facing Patrick Mahomes and continuously losing to Patrick Mahomes, you need a little something extra, I think, on your team.
Right.
But my number 6 is Ronnie Stanley. He is the left tackle for the Ravens. The reason I have him at 6 here, we're getting into the offensive lineman here. He's a really good offensive lineman. The only thing is he's 30, which you see offensive linemen playing upwards to 34, 35, 36 years old. Jason Peters just retired. He's like 39 years old. Zach Martin just retired, though, and I think he's only 31, 32. Yeah, I think the Ravens re-sign him, but he would instantly be an upgrade over, a majority of the tackles in the NFL currently. I think he's got a lot of good football left. I think he's been injured only once or twice in his career, so it'd be a solid pickup, I think, for anybody that gets him. But I like Ronnie Stanley there, sitting at number 6. Not really too many flashy numbers or stats for offensive linemen. Either you watch them play and you know their names, or you have no idea who they are.
Right.
I don't think there's any in between.
Well, that's like on New Heights. Jason Kelce was talking to like how Travis Kelce broke another record for catches or touches or something like that, and then I think then Jason says, yeah, I think I might have the record for the most. He's out there again.
Yeah.
Field again.
I actually see
he's out there for another game again.
Yeah.
They just don't talk. They don't talk about offensive linemen very much. I think Jason Kelce was the most talked about just because he had a podcast there towards the end of the years, and he was just well known. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like, either offensive linemen, like the only reason I know majority of these NFL players is because I play Madden like religiously. So like obviously whenever I'm doing a draft, I'm drafting these people that I'm like, okay, well, this guy's young, he'll develop. So, but yeah, I got Ronnie Stanley there at 6.
Jake's really not going off of these online statistics. He's going off of his my
Madden ratings. Yeah, this is actually every single person I have on my list is actually on my Madden team. So. All right, number 5.
All right, number 5. I might get a little bit of crap for having him this high up, like this in the middle,
okay,
and not like in the top 3, probably. But I'm going Chris Godwin at number 5.
I think you're pretty good in that spot. You got him there.
He's injury prone a little bit. He's been hurt the last couple of years. Hasn't played a full season. He has proven that he can be a number 1 receiver.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he's going to go anywhere where he's going to be a number 1 receiver. I think he's kind of like a Gabe Davis.
Yeah.
And he's going to go somewhere and he's going to still be productive. but he's not gonna. He's not. He's gonna be a number 2 somewhere. A really good number 2. He'd be a really good number 2, like you said with the Bills.
Yeah,
he'd be a really good number 2 for. I could see
the Bengals.
Yeah, if they don't resign T Higgins. I could see him going to an NFC. I see going to the Rams maybe. Do they have enough to get him? Maybe
the Rams. I do believe so, especially with the whole Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp dilemma that's going on right now.
Cooper Kupp's going to be gone.
Yeah, I mean they got
Matthew Stafford might be out the door for you, especially if
he's going to go. Could possibly go to the Raiders now. So I hear ties to it's just like, jeez.
Yeah,
but
so, but yeah, Chris Godwin number 5.
Love it. I'm going to go number 5. It's actually Dre Greenlaw, the linebacker for the 49ers. Younger, I think he's only, I'm going to double check because I don't want to say this wrong, but I think he's only 25. Could be wrong. Let's double check here. Dang it, he's 27. Okay. Dre Greenlaw, 27. I have him not lower on my list. I mean, he's top 5, but the injury does scare me. Obviously, he's going to be, I think he came back. No, he didn't. Did he come back? Maybe he came back. I think he came back for the last game of the season, right? I think he came back for the last game of the season. Yeah, he did. 9 combined tackles, 6 being assists. So he only had 3 solo tackles, but 27 years old. Super productive for the 49ers. Man, it was just, I think if he stayed healthy in that Super Bowl last year, they win the Super Bowl. Him going down definitely, put a huge hurting on that team. Travis Kelce started going off as soon as he got hurt in that Super Bowl last year. So, yeah, I think he is going to be a very sought after linebacker. I do have him higher than Zach Bond. Like I said, both 27, 28 years old, but I think Dre Greenlaw probably brings more to a defense, just a little bit more to a defense than Zach Bond. And obviously his stats kind of show it. And they're not like super eye-popping stats, obviously, the first few seasons, but the last 2 seasons he had before that injury, you're looking at 127 tackles, 120 tackles. So I think any team that gets him, and I'm fingers crossed the Broncos maybe just push some money his way and maybe see if we can get him coming into the Broncos. That'd be awesome. But yeah, he is my number 5. Yeah. On to number 4.
My number 4, and the only 2 defenders that I have on this that go number 4 and number 3. And you've already had him, and you said you were going to get crap for having him low.
You got Josh Sweat.
And I got Josh Sweat at number 4.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I have him at number 4 just because watching the playoffs, watching him play, he was a game changer there towards like at the start of the Super Bowl. He had a couple of pressures, couple of tackles, couple sacks that really changed. I think a lot of that was just because the Chiefs' offensive line really wasn't that great, and they got exposed crazy. But
it's not even that their offensive line was bad; it's that they had like Tooney trying to play left tackle. They played a lot of guys out of position, but their offensive line. Look back to the Tampa Bay game when they played the Super Bowl a few years back. Patrick Mahomes just getting absolutely obliterated. But yes, go on.
Yep, but I'm going Josh Sweat. You've talked about him already. Maybe he's only time can tell, and only next year can tell if he's worth the money or not. You give him. So, but his numbers in the playoffs, I think, gives him a right to be one of the highest fantasy.
And that's what's going to give him the money. It's like, look what I did here, and I kind of like we have differing perspectives on these though too, because obviously you look at it as like, look what he did in the playoffs, which is more important than the regular season. I'm just like, look at his production in the regular season, not really eye popping. So definitely 2 different perspectives, which is great. My number 4, someone you've already talked about, is Chris Godwin. Talked about him. Gonna touch on him really quick. I have him at 4 here. The only thing he could probably go a little bit higher, but I just haven't seen him do enough. Obviously Mike Evans was out a little bit, but let him be a true number 1 receiver and kind of see how he does. I think you could put him on a team,
Where's going to be a true number 1 at though?
Patriots. Patriots, he's a true number 1. I think if he goes to Denver, if he goes to Denver, is he true number 1 over Cortland Sutton? If he goes to, you got to think of those two. Like, does he become a true number 1 when he goes to these certain spots? Like, if he goes to the Raiders,
he could maybe be a number 1 if you take him if he goes to the Bills.
Bills, Raiders. I think you go Bills, Raiders, Saints. Even they have Shaheed there. I think you put him on maybe 5 to 10 teams where he's the starter, and any other team you put him on, maybe he's the second receiver. Because right now, he is the second receiver behind Mike Evans. So
yeah, I mean, he's gonna be until Mike Evans is done.
Yeah. So that is my number 4. So number 3 on to number 3 here.
My number 3 is Milton Williams.
Oh, you got him a lot higher. I love that.
I got him higher. I think you put him not. I don't think that he got to shine as much because he was stuck behind. I mean, he was stuck.
Look
with
at the
two
guys.
other guys.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
They are all, and both of them can be number one. Will be our number ones.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Any other defense. So I think you put him on a team where he can get more, or he's getting more. He's on those meaningful downs.
You make him. I mean, obviously, a lot of defensive linemen they rotate anyway.
Yes.
So I mean, you make him one of those guys where he's a run stuffer, and he's a. I didn't look at his PFFS stuff. I don't know what his run stuff grade or his pass rush grade was, but he's still young. He's 25.
You could argue if you look up his stats, you could argue that he was the best defender in the Super Bowl.
He was good. Oh, he was so good. Yeah.
You could argue that he was the best defender on that team in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, the inside pressure that he caused, obviously, the whole entire game, the whole entire team, dude. I mean, it was insane. Keeping Patrick Mahomes in the pocket, not let him scramble. I like that. I really do like Milton Williams. Like I said, I have him on my top 10. You've got him in top 3. I like it a lot. But my number 3 going on here is Trey Smith, guard from the Kansas City Chiefs. Their interior offensive line might have been, and I hate to say this because they're in our division, and I'm not hating. I promise I'm not hating. I have the utmost respect for the Chiefs and for Patrick Mahomes and, what he's able to do on the football field. But I think they had the best, that's the best spot they had on the offense. I think it was their front 3. There was the Creed Humphrey, your Joe Thuney, and your Trey Smith before they moved Thuney over to the left tackle. I think that was your strong suit. And, Trey Smith, based on his PFF grade, was 14th overall out of 135 qualified guards in the NFL. So, I mean, I would take top 20 any day of the week. So, definitely Trey Smith.
Kansas City, offensive linemen are hard to come by. So having
Kansas
him top
City,
3 is
this is a no-brainer. By the time we put this podcast out,
Kansas
Trey
City
Smith,
probably already started
have re-signed him. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So that's my number 3.
Yeah.
I hope we have the same one. If we have the same 1 and 2, I'm going to be super happy. If we do, we'll talk about them together.
So we haven't talked about. Well, we kind of talked about one of them already.
Really? Okay.
We kind of talked about one of them already. Just kind of like brief talk, like not like, oh, this will be a good fit for him.
You have T. Higgins at 2?
No, I got Sam Darnold at 2.
Sam Darnold. Oh, wow. So this guy that I have at 2 is not even on your list. That's so crazy. Okay.
Yeah. And so my guy I have on number 2. Wait, do you have T. Higgins on your number 1?
But where I'm a number 2, I haven't done my number 2. You don't have my number 2 on your list at all.
Wow.
That's crazy.
You don't have Sam Darnold
and I don't. Yeah, that's insane.
So, dude, Sam Darnold, I'm telling you, he's
got to be in the right. He's got to be in the right
situation. He's got to be in the right. He does, but he has proved that he could be a good quarterback. Like that he has proven himself.
Yeah.
And with these quarterbacks that are in free agency right now, and people might hate me for this. I don't really care, and this might just be me trying to get views. But I am taking Sam Darnold over Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he's aging.
I'm taking Sam Darnold over Aaron Rodgers. I'm taking Sam Darnold over Geno Smith. I'm taking Sam Darnold over Jameis Winston. I'm taking Sam Darnold over Russell Wilson. I'm taking Sam Darnold over Justin Fields. All these people that are free agents.
I agree.
Who else? Who else is a free agent? Scored Jimmy Garoppolo.
Maybe Kirk Cousins.
I'm taking Sam Darnold over Kirk Cousins.
Okay, all right. I love it, dude. I love your confidence in this.
And I don't know where he's going to go. He's not going to go back to Minnesota. I think maybe if they would have won a playoff game or if they would have made it to the NFC Championship, they re-sign him.
I think if they don't have JJ McCarthy, they re-sign him. It's the only thing.
I think they re-sign him if he wins in the playoffs. How do you not?
Here's the thing. What? They'll be. I bet I can see him going to the Raiders. There's gonna be quarterback needy teams. There's always quarterback needy teams, and I think he's got to be put in the right situation. Look at the biggest thing though he had Kevin O'Connell, who kind of understood him, offensive mind. You know,
He'll go to the Giants or the Raiders.
Robert Saleh, you know, defensive minded guy, came from the 49ers. I don't think he really just meshed well with Robert Saleh there.
And he also had Justin Jefferson. So and
Jordan Addison, who's really
Jordan
good.
Addison.
And why am I blanking? Tight end.
Hawkinson,
yeah, was originally with.
And then you had Aaron Jones in the backfield.
Exactly. Yeah. So we had a good team around him, which helps a lot as well.
But still. Yeah. Situation. Look at Brock Purdy.
Yeah, exactly. Do you want to guess on who my number 2 was? Or is? It's a defensive player. And this is who I want the Broncos to get, and I think it would be awesome.
1 second. Give me 1 second. Because we both had the same number 1.
Yeah. Clearly. Easy.
Give me 1 second. I got all these people. I'm looking through. Defensive player, is he?
I'm not gonna tell you position.
I'm assuming he's probably a linebacker.
Okay.
Is he?
Yeah. You got it. It's easy. You basically already guess it because I've already said 2 linebackers. I have 3 linebackers on my top 10.
Yeah, but is he older?
No.
Okay. Man.
No way. Are you giving up?
No. I'm trying to go through my list here.
I can't give you any more hints. I've already given you enough.
But he's a linebacker.
He's a linebacker. He's 24 years old. Don't look up his age.
I'm not. I'm trying to look through my defense that I have here. The only one I'm thinking of right now is White.
Devin White? He's not 24.
No, he's 27.
Yeah. Are you kidding me?
Dude,
You want me to tell you?
It's going to bug me if I don't.
Do you want me to tell you? I can tell you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Nick Bolton. Kansas City Chiefs linebacker is my number 2, and I want him for the Broncos so bad because I don't know if he's one of those players. He's from Mizzou, so he's probably like a Kansas City diehard. Maybe not. I don't know. But his production over the last 4 years of him being with the Chiefs and playing him twice a year is insane. You know, his first year in the NFL, he had 112 tackles. Second year in the league, 180 tackles. Dipped down to 60 in 2023. Just had 106 this last season. Has averaged almost an interception a year. He had 0 his first year, but then 2 interceptions, 1 interception. He's a good coverage guy. He's a good run stopper. He would be awesome to pair with Alex Singleton in the middle. And the fact that he would get to go against his former team for twice a year would be insane. The only reason I could see him coming to the Broncos would be, okay, Chiefs, you don't want to re-sign me? That's fine. I'm literally the best player on defense, one of the best players on defense. I'm going to go ahead and go to a team that can play you twice a year. You know, just like Bobby Wagner did. Okay, Seahawks, you don't want to pay me? I'll go play for the Rams. I bet the Commanders, regardless of his age, I bet the Commanders still re-sign him.
It's kind of like Von Miller.
And everybody's like, reunion with the Broncos. He's a good mentor. Like, can you pay him mentor money? But yeah, Nick Bolton.
Yeah, he just likes to be on those. He just likes to be on the sideline.
Yeah, 100%. And I would love to have Von Miller back on our sideline, honestly. But no, Nick Bolton I've got at my second spot, and once again, advocating for the Broncos to go and get him. You know, make a splash.
I scrolled right by him too.
Yeah,
Nick Bolton. I scrolled right by him. Didn't even think about it.
Yep.
3 down linebackers.
But,
it's hard to find.
Number 1, can we come to the consensus? You have T. Higgins.
Yeah,
I have T. Higgins. So T.
Higgins, he's a true number 1 receiver.
He is a true number 1 receiver, playing a wide receiver 2 role on his team behind
a future Hall of Fame wide receiver. If
he goes to any other team, he becomes their automatic number 1 wide receiver. The only place he doesn't become a number 1 wide receiver is if he goes to the Bucks. If he goes to probably I don't know what you guys are doing. The Dolphins. I don't know what the Dolphins are doing. If you guys still keep Tyreek.
Tyreek Hill staying.
Okay, so he becomes a number 2 there, but
he doesn't want. I think he was just blowing smoke up.
There's a handful of places he's not the number 1 wide receiver. He goes to the Commanders. I love Scary Terry. I think Scary Terry and him would have to fight for that number 1 spot. But
I think there's
Commanders are a borderline team.
I think there's a couple of teams that should throw the kitchen sink at him. Should.
Who?
I think the Patriots.
Yep.
Should.
Yep.
Should.
Who else do you think?
I think the Bills.
Yeah, I agree. Yep, same 2 that I had.
I think the Bills need to.
But you know who else I think? I have one more team, and I hate to say it, but it's one more team that I definitely think should. And I think that if
the Chiefs.
Yep. And I think if Nick Bolton is not re-signed with the Chiefs, then they go after T. Higgins because they're like, you know what, our defense is stacked, and we need someone that can catch a freaking football on offense.
I just don't ever understand how they ever have so much money to do stuff.
Because Patrick Mahomes keeps taking pay cuts. Chris Jones was like, nope, not doing that. But they have so many good players. Eventually, you're going to have to let good players go. That's just good scouting. That's just good drafting. It's going to have to happen. And then your quarterback's making $50 million a year.
I mean, yeah, just think you have Rashid Rice coming back too.
Yeah. Yep.
He was the number 1.
Yeah. Rashid Rice and
then
Rashid,
you have
it's Rashid Rice, and then there is Rashid Shaheed.
Worthy.
Those 2.
Worthy.
No, but I get those 2 mixed up from the Saints and
And then you have
just their names. Worthy, who's good. I don't think he was worth the pick that they gave him. I think they could have went a different direction and got a different receiver. I liked Ladd McConkey. I was actually scared Ladd McConkey was going to go there over Worthy, and I'm kind of glad that he didn't go there. But he went to another. But then he went to the Chargers, so it kind of just.
But you also like. I mean, Patrick Mahomes likes his speedy wideouts.
He loves the deep ball, and you notice the Chiefs have not really thrown a lot of deep balls. It's a lot of crossing routes. It's a lot of Travis Kelce just reading the zone and finding open space.
Yeah.
But yeah, top 10 routing it out. I think that's a great list. I think we've got solid top 10s. And the fact that we didn't really have too many crossovers was actually impressive.
Yeah. And I just got some extras here that are big names too, like Aaron Jones.
Yep, I had Aaron Jones.
J.K. Dobbins, Keenan Allen, D-Hop, and Justin Fields.
I had, oh my God, I can't pronounce. I'm not even going to try to say his name, but I had Aaron Jones. I just had 2 reserves. I had Aaron Jones and that guy from the
offensive lineman.
No, he's actually defensive tackle for the Cowboys.
Gosh, yeah.
What's his name? Okawaka something.
Yeah, Okawaka.
Yep, that guy. I had him on there as my reserves because I think
I just was on his name, reading his thing.
Yeah,
Osa.
Odigzua. Yeah, because I think he's pretty young too. Honestly, I think he's only
27.
Yeah,
you know how the Cowboys like to fiddle around with players. So
this is how I'm in Madden. As soon as you turn 26, you're getting traded. I keep guys for like 5 years in my Madden league. So 27, I don't know why. Just in my head, it's like, oh, you're old. See you later. But yeah, I think that's a solid list. Honestly, I mean, different players on there. It's so crazy that you had Sam Darnold at 2 though, and I had Nick Bolton at 2. I think kind of goes to show a little bit, the importance. But
you go deeper into depth. You go deeper into depth with like player development and like the difference that players make. And I think a lot of that is just you being a football coach. That's just like if we were to do a basketball one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
and I would be like
you would be carrying the basketball and the baseball one.
You'd be picking the flashy.
Yeah,
like me, like I pick the flashy players that that I just see on the TV. I don't pick the ones that really are making a difference on like protecting your quarterback or getting that stop.
Yeah,
or, you know what I mean. Like defensive players and offensive linemen just don't really get much.
But like I said, if we did a baseball or basketball podcast, yeah, you would definitely be on top of that. Which, hey, what is the first spring training or the spring game is? When is baseball
spring
start?
Training's already started.
Or sorry, when does baseball start though? Is it
April? I think
that's what I thought. Yeah,
opening day. Let me see.
So those of you that don't know, I'm not a big baseball guy. So Casey will be carrying that podcast.
Opening day is March 27th.
March 27th. Hey, we'll do a podcast. If you want to do a podcast over, we got it. I'll do my research. give my 2 cents.
Oh wow. It says the Tokyo series will be a curtain riser for the opening day when all 30 teams will be in action.
Wow.
The 15-game slate is scheduled for March 27th. So it's the earliest start in league history. That's why I thought it started in April.
That's crazy. You know what we don't do that we should do? Well, I mean, I don't know if you watch it or not. I grew up watching NASCAR. I'm sure you did too. I'm sure you were in a dude. Yeah, we would always remember.
I wasn't, but my mom was a big
Dale
Earnhardt and Dale Earnhardt Jr. fan.
I was a big Dale Earnhardt. My dad was a big Jeff Gordon. We clashed every single weekend when they raced, and I literally always watched the race. I watched the races religiously because when I was younger, my dad would not let me have the controller, and that's all we watched. So,
yeah, it's the only thing that you could. It's just kind of like I used to make fun of I used to make fun of golf before I really started watching it, but it was one of those things where you could turn it on in the morning and come back 3 hours later, and they're still doing the same thing.
Yeah, golf's one of those things where I watch. I'm like, wow, I will never be that good.
I watch golf now in a completely different way than I ever watched it before because I play it and everything.
100%. Any sport that you play, like ever since I became a football coach. Sorry, well, I mean, we're not really straying, but ever since I became a football coach, I watch football watch the quarterback throw the football. I'm watching the offensive lineman. What are the offensive linemen doing here that my offensive lineman can do?
Yeah,
it's just crazy. It's interesting with you being like a basketball coach.
When I watch basketball, I'm like, oh, I like that play that coach just ran.
Yeah.
I like that defensive scheme. I like that blitz that they just had. It's funny because the same. We're kind of going off topic a little here, but
the same. We're wrapping up anyway.
But the same talk with there's a lot of talk with football and basketball, like their defensive coverage here, and this is they're blitzing the guard here, or they're blitzing the post, which means they're just attacking the post or attacking the guard and with a trap.
Yeah, and that's
call it a blitz.
That's what's crazy, dude. Like when you get into the X's and the O's of all this stuff, it's just like.
Yeah, it gets crazy.
It's crazy. Like you watch the game and feud just dissecting basketball is the same way that when I watch football, I just dissect it. Like I cannot watch a football game without being like, oh my God. And for those of you listening, I coach, I'm a head coach of 8-man football, trying to adapt an 11-man,
offensive scheme,
or offensive or scheme to 8-man is harder than it seems, because, you're losing 3 players. It's like,
that's like me trying to drop a play for 3 people on.
Yeah,
in basketball,
it's crazy. But yeah, it's definitely, and I live and breathe football. Like I said, we've got NFL draft, and I am just tomorrow. I have class, obviously. I will be watching the combine while class is going. I don't care. I really don't care. I will be watching the combine going on.
So do you watch it? Did you have a TV in there, or do you
my phone? I'll just watch on my phone.
Oh, I didn't know if you do it on a computer or what.
So what I do usually, last year, what I did is I actually had my computer, and I set my computer up, and I watched the combine literally the whole entire day while my class was going on. So
yeah, nice set. Keep going.
Yeah. So
all right, kids, we're doing 40s.
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah. Here we go, guys. Time for combine stuff. Let's go. Who's got the fastest 40? So.
Yep.
But yeah. A lot of good stuff. I'm excited. I can't wait. I can't wait for the combine. My kids, like I said, my kids want to do a combine for football. I'm like, that's fine. We'll do one for sure. But
they want to do it for football, in the summer.
They just want to do it in class. Can we do a 40? See what our bench press is going to be, and our vertical and our broad jump. And I'm like, absolutely, 100%. Let's do it. But some of these kids want to run a 40-yard dash, and I'm like, we're doing it. When it comes spring, we're doing a 40-yard dash. We'll take the last 2 weeks of school, and go do a 40-yard dash for sure. So
and prep for a 40-yard dash.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing. It's I don't want you kids running a 40-yard dash without stretching first. So let's run a run walk, a full lap, and then we'll do a 40-yard dash.
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of stress.
Yeah, for sure. But all right, man. We planned on a 40-minute podcast here. We're closing in on an hour and 10 minutes. So I know it's one of the lot of we started talking about things. We just started going off, but we'll go ahead and wrap up here. Just want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in, and those of you guys that are watching, make sure to tell your friends. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. That's all we got for today's podcast. We'll catch you in the next one.